Tier ranking NFL jerseys. Let's go. Starting with the Houston Oilers. Look, this is an iconic jersey. Obviously, all these NFL teams are wearing throwbacks nowadays. I don't think it looks cool. Some throwbacks, they look cool in the modern era. The Oilers looks nice back then. It doesn't look nice now. Speaking of the Houston Texans, we are sticking with them and going with their away uniform. I think it's kind of an average away uniform. The color scheme is cool. Nothing crazy is happening. I don't mind it for sure. Tennessee Titans, I am going to go C tier. I don't like the, you got the light blue, you've got the dark blue. It doesn't sit right for me for some reason. If you've got those two colors, it feels like you got to be a light blue and a black, a light blue and a white. You having two colors, it doesn't feel right. Steelers away uniforms, I'll go B tier. They're pretty standard, kind of in the same camp as the Texans. They look solid though, for sure. Cincinnati Bengals, now this is not their updated away uniform, but I also think their away uniform looks pretty basic once again. Atlanta Falcons, this looks terrible. The letters look terrible. The numbers look terrible. The white, can't even really tell it's the Falcons. It looks like some sort of intramural fake team. Packers, I'm gonna go A tier. The uniforms for the Packers have a kind of a unique cloth to them, and I think that kind of sits right for me. Kansas City Chiefs, I am also going to give them A tier for their away uniform. The pants, the helmet, the long sleeve, although it's not really part of it, but everything just sits right for me. This away uniform, something about it just feels off. Not the right percentage of colors, not matching correctly. I don't specifically know what it is, but it just looks tacky. Indianapolis Colts, I am going to go B tier, kind of in that same feeling as these uniforms. They just feel standard. They feel like NFL uniforms. They don't feel special. They feel normal. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, creamsicle, I think is what they called them. And the Buccaneers have worn them a few times, and they look clean. They look clean to this day, unlike the Oilers, which doesn't look like when the Titans wear them. But these uniforms are nice. Cincinnati Bengals, once again, they do not wear these exact uniforms, but they feel pretty standard to me. These are the older uniforms. Cleveland Browns, I'll go C tier. Look, part of my judgment might be clouded by the fact that they lose a lot when they wear these uniforms, so I've got a bad picture in my head, but they feel below average to me. Now, which team is this? I think that's also the Cleveland Browns. Is that the Cleveland Browns? Sure looks like it, yeah. With their dark brown uniform. Once again, I'll put them in the C tier. Man, I really can't tell what team that is. I think because the backdrop is orange, I think it is the Browns in the same photo shoot. Now, the Patriots, I don't think it's going to be on here, but the uniforms they just wore, the kind of lighter blue, they feel amazing. They feel iconic. They feel like Drake May's era. But these uniforms aren't bad. For sure. I'll put this one, the home uniform, in A tier, and I'll put the away one in B tier. I'd say they're an above average group. The Bengals whiteout, especially with the new helmets that they wear on Thursday Night Football, look nasty. We got the Lions gray uniform. I also feel like this is it's teetering between A and B. I think it depends on when they wear them and their opponents. I'm going to go B tier. Old school Chargers uniform, clear A tier. I mean, those look nice, especially when they're playing San Diego. It all just fit right. Saints home uniform. Feels a little bit below average. Maybe it's a B minus, C plus in that category. Falcons old school uniforms. We will go Falcons home old school uniforms. I still think these kind of suck. I mean, these are better than their new ones, but I still think they kind of suck. Dolphins home uniforms, pretty basic. They're all white. We kind of feel like in the same camp as these. With the Steelers and the Texans, they feel pretty standard. Broncos orange uniforms. I like the old uniforms. The Mile High, it just feels different. That no fly zone defense wearing these orange uniforms, it just felt right. Giants uniforms, home uniforms, old school. Before the rebrand with the gray pants. I gotta go C tier. They just don't get me excited. Cardinals. Cardinals, we're gonna go C. That stripe connecting to the leg kind of looks ugly. Bills feel like a standard home uniform. Nothing crazy, nothing bad. Falcons, this is the Falcons all black. Or is that the Saints? Yeah, it's the Saints. Yeah, it's the filter I've got on my computer made it look like the Falcons. Saints all black. I'm gonna go B tier. You could argue A, but I just think with that dome, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to be wearing all black indoors. Now, contrary to that, the Steelers wearing black and yellow, especially in Pittsburgh, I like it. Chargers dark blue that's a B tier. That's a standard uniform. Definitely not as nice as the light blue. Now we have the Niners all white. I think the Niners all white it's a nasty uniform, especially when they're winning. Uniforms always look better when you're winning. Broncos old school blue. It's okay. I don't like it because of that stripe. I think the stripes are pretty stupid. I like the orange more, but the dark blue it doesn't stink. Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers probably overall, and we'd have to tally it up at the end, but I think Buccaneers overall have probably the best uniforms. Eagles classic home uniform. I'll give it a B. Kind of feels like the Bills and just basic, nothing crazy. I don't like this uniform. Part of it is because of how good the Chargers uniforms used to be, but I don't like it. Carolina Panthers, all white. We'll go B tier once again. Feels kind of like a standard away uniform. Carolina Panthers, all blue. I'm going to go... It's between A and B. I'm going to go B once again. These both feel in the camp of average. Raiders feels mediocre. Chargers, what is this? Are we serious? This like phantom dark blue that actually is black, but they try to convince you it's... Get that out of here. Lions away uniforms, they're below average for sure. Baltimore Ravens home uniforms feel pretty standard, similar with Bills and with the Eagles. And what team is this? Colts. Colts away uniforms. I'd say they're pretty average as well. When you're looking at white uniforms, all white, it's tough to tell, but I think they're a tier above these white uniforms. Seattle Seahawks, lime green. Look, I love this uniform. These two uniforms are awesome. I just remember playing with the Seahawks in Madden games and having that neon green. I mean, it just looked like a highlighter. It's phenomenal. Broncos all orange. I don't like it as much as their old orange. We've got this old orange with... I'm trying to remember which player that is, 33, but this just doesn't look as cool as the old school orange. Chiefs home uniforms. We're gonna keep them in B tier. No mistakes, nothing crazy. Browns all... I don't mess with it. I don't like the Rams uniforms. Last video I talked about the logos, and I do like the Rams logo. This just... It feels kind of AI generated. It doesn't feel right. Speaking of AI generated, we've got the Washington Commanders. It's not even a real football team. Tennessee Titans. Their dark blue looks cool. If they're winning, it'd be even cooler, but that's a fine uniform. Rams... I'll give this... Well... They both stink. Both these uniforms are horrific. Bears old school orange, identical to the Broncos. These two uniforms, I love them. We've got the Vikings all white. I view it as the same as the Colts. You know, a tier above these white uniforms. Bills all white, kind of boring, similar with the Lions and Raiders. Cardinals old school black. I'm gonna go C tier. I don't mind it, but it doesn't give me Cardinals feel. If we would have gone with some red on the numbers, maybe. Bears old school white. We're gonna go C tier. Rams old school white. We are going to go. We'll go C tier. Feels below average. We've got Cardinals. I think we got to put them in the B tier. Look, these uniforms: Cardinals, Eagles, Colts, Bills, Ravens. Standard, nothing insane. White numbers. They're colored. I mean, they're all pretty identical. Dolphins away uniform. We will go B tier. Looks fine. Looks fine for sure. And we're trying to keep these on the screen. Jets old school. Yeah, we'll go B tier. We'll go B tier. They're not a terrible. They're not a terrible one. Buccaneers old school. Well, not really old school. Between old school and between the current, I don't like them. And speaking of uniforms, I don't like. We'll throw all the Chargers on here. I mean, what is this? This one, the blue with the white pants is decent. We'll bump that up to C tier, but we've got the Buccaneers gray. I'm going to put this in S tier. Buccaneers gray looks nasty. Jaguars. We've got the Jaguars white. I don't like it. We're going to put it in D tier. Something doesn't sit right with me with that one. And we are running out of space, so let's see if there's any in here that we want to. Oh, Packers. Packers are definitely A tier, and we'll swipe up so you guys can see it. And anyone else? Any of these else we want? Oh, I love the Eagles. The Eagles is also an A tier. They're black. I think the rest of these are pretty basic. You know, the Niners is also an A tier for sure. But yeah, these are my uniform rankings. I love the Buccaneers. I like these orange ones. Packers have nice uniforms. Niners have nice uniforms.